So you are much more coordinated than usual and have perfect balance, and are able to help Ikindu on the difficult spots. Ikindu, if all you need to do is stay close to Urko, and and it's not as though you don't have to have one of these stupid routines where he doesn't know where you are and you're saying I'm right here and all that crap. The magic is on your side. You can control your interaction with Urko so that he does not lose sight of you. As long as you are next to him and interacting, you don't have to be invisible to him.
As we're climbing, I'm explaining my idea is that it should be an opening for the children to enter into this beast. Right. We should probably try to find this opening to place I don't want to call it gunpowder. Exactly. My bang
your
powder.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so that as you guys are discussing this, which I think is a fascinating conversation as you are going up, I have this great image of what the somewhat anatomical shapes of the surfaces, but is effectively a physical environment that you are climbing on. It's kind of cool. So you are having this conversation as you are doing this, and the giant is moving. One thing you are discovering is that it is very slightly moving its position without changing its arm's place, but it is moving the rest of its body because it is bringing its other hands to its mouth.
Oh.
As it opens its mouth, creating an enormous cave, brings its hands there, and then will bring that hands down with the palm up to the level of the ground. And then is when it pulls its fist back up from the ground to counterbalance that movement. Fortunately, our two friends have made it to the elbow by this point, because this motion that I have described is itself almost an hour. So that's plenty of time for you to adjust where you need to be as you are getting up there. The rate of its movement is slow enough that it's not going to just throw you off. But that is the movement that it is making. And on the palm of its hand, of course, are 5 standing people who, even before the hand has completely settled to the ground, have walked across the hand and are ready to step off of it onto the ground by the time that it has come to rest. On the positive side, you are looking right at that cave.
I know where to bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I guess I'll enter because I have more I can move swifter than you.
Well, at this point, I think I'm going to come down to the ground to deal with the interactions there. It will take you guys some time to climb around the shoulder and work your way up to the right spots. And by this time, coordination has worn off, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult. You have to stop and help each other and generally be careful. There are some it does not have earth on it or growing things, but
I have around me.
Yes, you do. I'm just letting you two know a little bit more about the surfaces. There are different areas, but it is not just smooth, solid rock. It is not like a statue. So that gives you plenty of surfaces that are more like ordinary stone, ordinary
cracking.
Cracks and gravel and all sorts of things like that make it possible for you to get across it without.
You don't actually. How do the joints look? Any kind of joints? when it
Well, there
moves?
is
I
not-
mean, you describe kind of hands and feet, but I assume there are
Yes.
not really joints, right?
Well, actually, it's a little bit more anatomical than you might think. It
Okay.
is just so vast that it
For-
does not really, and it's so it is not a featureless being. It's not like a great big sort of lump of just vaguely human shape. It actually does have what looks like anatomical muscular definition. It is just so enormous, and its proportions are not normal. So it is not as easy to identify the anatomy. But once, at a certain distance, you can see it. Okay, now let's see. Last person before Skava gets going is going to be Zort. And Jala has been thinking a lot and is ready to work with Skava as well. So
Yeah, Sword is also gonna stand by Scav's side and also gonna keep an eye on the funny business as Hin is doing with Wang.
yes, good plan. Okay, so the
Thanks for having my back.
yes, and so
Don't worry.
then we have. In fact, why don't you, Zort? Why don't you make another one of your famous scan rolls?
Alright. I'm getting quite good at this. Why did I say that? 74.
Well, you are a little bit distracted, so getting a good. There are certain things about the movements of people. This is a group of people who are interacting with their close acquaintances in the region of their own home. So their somewhat tactical maneuvers will not be as obvious to an outsider. So, okay, I think we should move quickly to our next step, which is that these individuals who are stepping off of the giant are clothed in very, very simple and plain robes, and they have no hair on their heads, and their the shape of their skulls seems slightly altered. It's a little longer and going to the back than they were than most ordinary people. But their faces are still individual human faces. They are, as I say, the men have no hair on their faces. Their eyes are they normal? Well, it is hard to say. They certainly are staring in a way that is unusually intent, and they don't seem to look around like ordinary people do all the time. They may look in different places, but their gaze remains effectively whichever way their head is pointing, to the extent that if their eyes ever do shift before their head does, it's very distinctive when they do that. So if you are feeling a little creepy right now, that is perfect.
I don't even think I registered that.
Mm-hmm. So what is Skava doing?
Skava is trying to let loose all hell on that giant as long as it has at least 1 hand and 2 feet on the ground.
Excellent.
So I'm basically, during all this time, I tried to meditate, may not be the right word. I'm trying to get far enough away from all this to connect to the plants around me, to the soil and anything living in there, and to get them to help me to get this thing down.
Excellent. Do you have, what is your power?
My power is 15 plus the 3 I have in my storage crystal, and
That's right.
I'm I'm willing to risk quite a lot of it.
Right. I understand. So excellent. Let us use.
For once, I'm not worried about
Right.
risking
Exactly.
too much because
Okay.
there is no way back anyway.
Right. So this
It's
is
him
going
or
to
us.
keep you. Let's see. One moment. Quickly, the fun of a quick spouse interaction, which is my one word, yes. And then, so let's take it from here. We have several interesting things. I want to have dexterity rolls for both Urko and Ikindu. And so you will take your dexterity and multiply it by 5, and that is your value.
Mm,
No, wait. Oh, that was the wrong die. Sorry. 99.
63.
So I don't think either of you did you. What is your?
I succeed.
You
I
do.
have 85.
Oh wow!
I have
Oh, that's
17 in
right. You are
dexterity.
crazy dexterity. Okay. Well, in that case, Urko is having a terrible time and may even have fallen, except that you, with your roll, are able to keep him from falling off the giant. So that's a moment of frightening. The reason you are doing this is because you are trying to get from the shoulder, which is relatively flat, to this open mouth through a difficult area to cross. And so Urko almost did not make it. So you have saved his life. And Urko may actually be slightly less suspicious of Akindu at this point, anyway.
Perhaps so.
Yeah.
Perhaps
So-
a bit.
A quick question.
Yeah.
I have a rune spell. What does it do?
As I recall, this spell allows, it's called discorporation. It actually
Yes.
allows you to let your body collapse, and then your spirit will go forward and can investigate things on the spirit world.
Oh. Well, it seems like a stupid idea using it when I'm on top of the giant.
I think at the moment, while you are trying to hoist Urko up from dying in a terrifying fall, that
No, I would
maybe
never
you can
use-
discorporate some other time.
Yes, I was more interested in what they actually.
Yes, it's nice to know. So what we have is a couple of very let me tell them what you are doing, Skava, actually is going to create or is going to require some time. This is ritualistic meditative activity. And so I'm going to
and
catch them.
by the way, I assume those two are not on the guy, and I assume they have gone with the others.
That's actually quite amusing that you don't know they are up there. So, okay.
I'm certainly not.
Okay.
So
Good point. Yes, the sneakiness solves more problems as usual. So we have the first thing that you will see when you move into this cave or mouth or into the interior. The first thing you will understand is that the interior of its head has several different chambers that are just like you would see like carved into the side of rock, and it's a flat space for a body to lie. And there are several of these, and they glow with a soft blue light. And the people who are lying in those chambers, because there are many of them, their heads seem to have grown into the rock at the end of each chamber.
Okay.
So
Matrix.
Mhm.
We will need to sacrifice them.
Urko goes
Yes.
straight for the solution. I see. Okay.
I can't look at Urko, but wow, I would never cross you.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, the cult of the buried dead is okay with dead people. So
We need death.
that's right. So, so that's I like that interaction.